Good evening. It is Tuesday, November 15th. I worked late at work today. I got off and it's like a bit after 6:30. So I only got a few hours until I need to be in bed. Originally I was thinking, what should I watch? Just after my birthday I should watch something good. But, well, things didn't turn out so great, so I'm like, it's already a whatever week. Given the issues with my car. Maybe don't bother with that, maybe just finish up this shelf and be done with it. And so that's actually what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to finish up New Year's resolution to finish where all this shelf is pulled forward. And I've gotten it down to just one movie left. Frequency. I have never seen Frequency. I don't know what Frequency is about. I don't particularly think I'll like Frequency. I don't know why I own it or who bought it for me, but it's on my shelf. So, I'm gonna watch it. 'Cause that's how the shelf works, right? So, all I know is Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel. So these guys in the front, they look kind of sweaty, and then the back, I see on the back there's guy running away from explosion. So my brain says, hey, this is some sort of action movie. There is one more thing I know, because I'd mentioned it, I don't know, a month or so ago to my buddies last time. I got a couple of movies I gotta watch, and one of them, with the complete inability to not spoil things, is like, it's some sort of paranormal thing apparently, so I have like no idea what to expect, because I'm looking at this and like, that looks like action movie, and he's like, paranormal, whatever, tried to forget. So who knows? Now again, I don't think I'm going to like it, so I made myself another one of these little cards that says skip the bonus features, because it is one that has like multiple commentaries and documentaries and such on it that I'm like, that's gonna take so much time, and when it's something I don't care about, it feels like wasted time. So I made myself another note card so I don't have to worry about that. I can just watch the movie and call that good enough and move on with my day, pull it forward, having achieved objective with the shelf. So I went to the binder, pulled up the disc, and I'm gonna watch Frequency. And I would give Frequency a 4.4 out of 10. Before reading the back of the box, I'm just gonna say my views on, like, my favorite like story that involves time travel is probably going to be like Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. It's great, you see, because as we're going through the story, there's things that happen that we don't know why they happen, and then when they go back in time, we find out it's because they go back in time, but they happened the first time because they were going to happen. That's the joy of being able to have a constructed story, like a movie or book or something that, you know, as opposed to like a role-playing game where that kind of time travel is very difficult, where when something is going to cause an effect in the future, that effect is already seen when it happens in the past, because that's how time works. Now, to discuss Frequency. There is actually a little front of box description. A son's only hope to stop a murder is the father who's been dead for 30 years. It's weird. Actually, I read that before watching the movie, because it's on the front of the box. But like just before, it was like as I was putting the movie in and taking the image of the box for the video. It's like, oh, there's a description here. I usually avoid reading the back of the box description, but they put it on the front of the box. I figured they wanted me to know. Now, to begin our discussion from the back of the box, what if you could reach back into time and change the one event that forever altered your life? Would you do it? And what would it be? All his life, police officer John Sullivan, Jim Caviezel, has been haunted by one tragic event. When a once-in-a-lifetime phenomenon of nature opens a mysterious channel to the past, John is stunned to discover that he is able to communicate with his dad, Frank, Dennis Quaid, who's been dead for 30 years. But by changing the past, they set in motion a string of brutal, unsolved murders with John's mother and Frank's wife, the next victim. Actually, not the next victim. A few victims later. That's a huge plot point. Anyways, racing against time, the son and father must now find a way to stop the crime that could destroy the future for both of them. Directed by Gregory Hobart, this mind-bending, edge-of-your-seat thriller will keep your adrenaline pumping long after its final astonishing climax. No, it won't. Although for this movie, I think it's pretty old. Some of the visual effects, like the guy's hand like withering away, was pretty cool. So, this is, for lack of a better term, a time travel movie. No individual travels through time, but they communicate through time in the way that they affect the flow of time. And the reasons are because there's an aurora borealis, and we don't know stuff about physics. We learn new stuff about physics all the time. This could happen. Anyways. So, the movie does set up this Nightingale murder with the opening credits as, we're establishing that Dennis Quaid is firefighter. By the way, this running from explosion shot, yeah, that's like the beginning, and that's him being a firefighter. It's not an action. I mean, there's some action, but it's not the kind of movie it is at all. It's just misleading being on the back of the box. Though, supernatural thriller kind of description was apt. Anyways, this takes place in 1969 and 1999 with basically communication through an old radio that gets pulled out of storage, where son can talk to father and figures out, hey, I'm talking 30 years in the past. And they find out the way that works with things like the father is freaked out by what's being said, drops something, catches the desk on fire and quickly puts it out. And then the son watches as the burn mark comes into being. Because that's the kind of time travel movie this is. Which is why I brought up what good time travel movies are. But the entire plot, relies on it being this kind of thing, where you keep changing it. And for some reason, the son can remember both versions of the past, but none of the other people can for some reason. So no, that doesn't make any sense. But, anyways, so it goes about, we're doing this. He tells his father what he needs to know the night before his father's going to die in a fire, doing his job as a firefighter. And he gets 20 years of his father back. His father lives 20 years longer, and he tells him, hey, now you die of cancer, quit smoking. Which right near the end he does, and then, anyways, he'll show up at the end, climactic scene, because he's still alive. So it's that. And there was a point after that where they really connect, and I, with, some, not the greatest relationship with my own dad. I don't know him nearly as well as I would like. And just, there's a scene where they start to really connect, where they have both accepted, I am somehow talking to you, I have gotten time back, and it's great, and it made me cry. And at that point, I was kind of liking the movie, and then the plot begins. Which is this whole thing where after that, because the father didn't die, the mother wasn't rushed away from her job at the hospital, which meant that she didn't save the life of the guy who was this Nightingale murderer, and therefore she ended up being one of his victims. So for the son, he got his father back but lost his mother. And he's like, it's because you lived. And so now the mystery to sort it out begins. The son's picking up this cold case to try and find information, which he could then feed back to the father in the past to try and do something. The father in the past is bumbling around because while the son is a police officer, the father's a firefighter and just getting involved in things as he shouldn't, but he's just trying to save his wife. Because at this point, he believes that he's talking to his son, he believes what's going on. So he's like, I gotta do it. And the whole thing, he ends up wrapped up in the investigation because all of a sudden he's at some of these places where this guy is. This murderer targets him and frames him, and murderer's a police officer, so he's able to get involved. The father's able to convince some police guy, hey, watch this ball game, here's what's going to happen, my son has told me. My son also says that guy's the murderer. So they investigate, they find the evidence, but then the fire's like, yeah, I killed him in the river as he was chasing after me, because murderers figured out, hey, this guy knows, I don't know how he knows, but he knows, so he's after him. But he didn't die, and he comes and tries to, knock out the father, kill his wife, or the son as a child. But gets distracted by the future of him attacking the son at the same time also on the radio. And he gets fled off, and then at the end was he's attacking the son on the radio, and because of the way that things went down in the past, as it changes his hand, withers away. That was a cool shot. But then at the end, the father shows up and shoots him because the father, right near the end before then, had crumpled up his cigarettes and thrown them down, so that means he quit. So he didn't die of cancer either. He's still alive to be there. Reunion. They'd chased him off and kept him from killing the mother. They'd managed to get the father alive. The whole family together lasts for the whole 30 years until present day. Awesome, right? Great. It's just whatever. I mean, it's the movie. It's fine, but it's obnoxious level of time travel. Some things that are just coincidental timing. Very, very much the kind of plot that's just, don't ask why this plot is happening. Just don't ask. We're just telling a story. It doesn't make any sense why the story started. Shh, don't look at it. I'm like, but it's right there. What do you mean an Aurora Borealis does this? That's not how those work. You don't know that? I was like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We know. No evidence of time travel related to Aurora Borealis. That's just not a thing. But we needed an excuse. And I'm like, could have come up with a better one. Could have said a wizard did it. That literally would be a better excuse than Aurora Borealis. I mean, sure, if you want to do a whole bunch of establishing shots and show Aurora Borealis in the sky over New York all the time, yeah, whatever, but a wizard did it would be a better excuse. I'm just saying. That's all, and that's saying something. I don't know. It's just I don't care. I wasn't invested. At the very beginning, it started acting like something where I was going to be invested, but as they get far enough into it, I just whatever. You know, I'm not upset that I spent a couple hours watching it. I've seen it now. I'm glad I have my little cards that I don't have to watch it twice more for the bonus feature commentaries, because once was fine. I've seen it. Check. Done. Now it gets to be on the shelf, pulled forward. That shelf is finished. New Year's resolution complete. Beyond that, I'm gonna call it a night. I am tired. Thank you for joining me, and joining me as my journey continues.